other side.
Hear, hear.
Resuming debate, the honourable member for Richmond Hill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it gives me great pleasure to rise in this House today to speak in support of the speech from the throne. The speech from the throne lays out the foundation of our government direction and goals and how we'll work to achieve them. Before I begin, I want to recognize the hard work that the frontline workers in my riding of Richmond Hill have continued to provide throughout the pandemic. Grocery store clerks, healthcare workers, law enforcement officers, first responders, and small business owners are few of whom who have been the backbone of our community at this time, and I want to thank them for their services. Madam Speaker, in these times of need, members of our community have also been coming together to ensure that they are not alone in the fight to flatten the curve. I've seen communities in Richmond Hill organize food drives, create handmade masks for local centers, or simply just donate their time and money to local organizations serving our most vulnerable. It is my honor to represent the people of Richmond Hill and continue to advocate for them. Madam Speaker, this speech was created with everyday Canadians like the residents of Richmond Hill in mind. Canadians who are working to support their families, who have local businesses, who give back to the community, and who rely on government to provide them with public services that empowers them and their family. Through the four major pillars of our speech, we have told Canadians that their voice and their advocacy has been heard, and their opinion indeed matters. The four pillars of fighting the pandemic, supporting Canadian businesses, addressing the gap in our social system, and standing up for who we are as Canadians will guide our government action to best support the people of Canada and create a stronger, more resilient country. The COVID-19 pandemic has shown us that when people are suffering, the onus is on the government to ensure they remain stable on their feet and they're equipped to fight this virus. From the onset of COVID-19, our government has had a plan to tackle the challenges brought by the crisis. Our first step was to ensure that the Canadians and Canadian businesses were protected. This is why we introduced the Canada Emergency Response Benefit. Our response ensured Canadians did not have to worry about putting food on their table or paying bills by providing direct support to them. The SERB was a temporary program that was able to help close to 9 million Canadians through a very difficult time. Madam Speaker, we ensured that the business could continue keeping their employee on their payroll by introducing the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy. The wage subsidy protected over 3.5 million jobs and preserved our nation's small businesses. We also took further action by creating the Made in Canada initiative, which invested in domestic PPE manufacture and provided support to Canadian scientists researching and developing a vaccine. By investing in Canadians, we will fight the virus. And as the speech highlighted, the support will continue. The Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy will be extended to next summer so businesses like Benson Locksmith in Richmond Hill can continue to keep workers employed. Many Canadians in Richmond Hill benefited from the SERB, and now the improved employment insurance program will continue to support them during this time. And for those who do not qualify for EI, the Canada Recovery Benefit will help get them back on their feet. Madam Speaker, to recover our economy, we must invest in our vulnerable industries. I've firsthand heard from those in the travel and hospitality industry who have been hit the hardest. By expanding the Canada Emergency Business Account to help businesses with fixed costs and improving the Business Credit Availability Program, we are providing direct support to most vulnerable industries. As well, we've invested in communities. The Safe Start Agreement allocated $19 billion to municipalities to start their economies. Richmond Hill received $4 million to address the associated costs and protect the community. This funding for my riding ensures safety measures were placed and public services could be maintained. It has also enabled the municipal government to prepare for what's now the second wave of the virus. Madam Speaker, as we prepare our municipalities, it's also imperative that we consider the long-term impact of our initiative and how they affect our environment. Climate action is a key component of our government mandate. After consulting with climate activists and organizations within my riding, including Neighbors for the Planet, Blue Dot, Drawdown, I understand the urgency of a comprehensive plan to fight climate change. Madam Speaker, the government will create millions of jobs for Canadians by retrofitting homes to save on energy costs for families and supporting investment in renewable energy and clean technology solutions. We will also invest in our cities to deliver on fast public transit. As a representative of a thriving suburban community, my constituents rely on convenient and affordable transit options to go to work. Madam Speaker, we will transform the way we power our communities through the Clean Power Fund and become a world leader in clean technology. Madam Speaker, as we work to protect our planet, we will also must do the same to protect the most vulnerable in our communities. That is why addressing the gap in our social security system is a key priority for this government. Our nation's seniors have worked hard to build this country, and we owe it to them to provide the best long-term care. By working with the provinces and territories to create a new national standard for long-term care, we will allow our seniors to receive the best support possible. We will also increase old age security once and boost the Canada Pension Plan survivor benefit. Madam Speaker, these initiatives will benefit many seniors, organizations, and long-term care centers in my riding. For senior program organization Richmond Hill, such as Community Home Assistant to Seniors Chats and Marianne Homes, are able to provide quality support and care to Richmond Hill seniors. Madam Speaker, next I would like to acknowledge another aspect of the speech that resonated with my riding and me. I've had the chance to work with organizations within Richmond Hill that addresses homelessness in our community. And the commitment to eliminate chronic homelessness in Canada is of great importance. The government historic national housing strategy will increase investment to rapid housing in the short term and partner with non-for-profit and co-ops to find the best solution. The government will work with the organization like 360 Kids in my riding and support to homeless, which they are supporting support to homeless youth in York Region. Madam Speaker, this week is Mental Health Awareness Week. On the note of mental health, our government understands that the mental health crisis in our countries has reached a tipping point, and it's urgent that we invest in community programs. As the chair of All Parliamentary Mental Health Caucus, I have worked with various stakeholders to advocate for more investment and resources in mental health research and support for those struggling. We will invest in people like Kathy McConaughey from Home on the Hill Support Housing, who provide resources for individuals with mental illness. I'm so glad to see commitment to increasing intersectional wellness resources so more people can receive the support they need. I believe that supporting and recognizing the diversity of those in our community is crucial to uniting us as Canadians. Madam Speaker, the last point I would like to mention is our government's plan to combat racism. The pandemic has exaggerated and highlighted what many of us already know. There is still much work to be done in the fight against systematic racism. I represent the riding that is incredibly diverse. 60% of the population of Richmond Hill identify as a visible minority, and 57.4% are immigrants. The need for a comprehensive strategy to address racism is long overdue, and this government has proved that they will do just that by continuing to fight hatred and discrimination, as well as economically empowering disadvantaged communities so we can all succeed. The recently announced Black Entrepreneurship Fund, as well as initiative aimed at strengthening Indigenous communities, show that this government is committed to addressing systematic discrimination and empowering all Canadians. Madam Speaker, as you can tell, this plan is ambitious, but it's necessary to protect and support Canadians. The benefits overweigh the costs, and keeping Canadians on their feet is most important goal in our government. To quote the speech, it's no small task to build a strong, more resilient country. It will take hard work. And Madam Speaker, the hard work is what this government is prepared to do. I hope that we can gain the support from all members on this goal and work together to build back our great country. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Questions et commentaires, questions and comments. The Honourable Member for Battle River Crowfoot.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I appreciate the member's speech, and I would simply ask, he talks about the need to work together, the need to build back better, and I'm really curious as to what his thoughts, that if that is consistent with the fact that his government prorogued Parliament for 6 weeks, when certainly members on this side of the House were ready to keep working for Canadians, yet that the Liberal government, the Prime Minister, shut down the ability for parliamentarians to do just that for 6 weeks at a time when Canadians expected their elected officials to come together to do what was best for them. And certainly it wasn't even necessarily, in a parliamentary sense, it wasn't even necessary to do the so-called legislative reset that they promised. I'm wondering if the member has thoughts on that.
Honourable member for Richmond Thornhill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and through you to the honourable member. I thank him for his question. Madam Speaker, let me share with you what I did during those 6 weeks. What I did, and about 154 of my colleagues did, we reached out to our constituents. We reached out to small businesses. We reached out to the parents. We reached out to the seniors. We reached out to non-for-profit organizations. We held consultation, roundtables with them. We understood what their concerns was, and we communicate those concerns through various channels we had to the government, whether it was through the minister's office, whether it was through the department, whether it was through our sub-regional caucuses, and we made sure that the issues that were in the forefront of the Canadians were communicated. And I'm glad, as I said in my speech, that I'm glad that our government heard those speeches. My question to the honourable member is, can he share with us what he did during or through you, Madam, what the honourable member did during those 6 weeks?
Questions et commentaires, questions and comments. L'honorable député de Montcalm.
The honourable member for Montcalm. Thank you, Madam Speaker. My colleague pointed out the fact that in the throne speech, the government heard and listened to the interests of citizens in this country. How then does he explain that the government turned a deaf ear to the calls for increases in health transfers when over 90% of Quebecers are asking for that? 73% of Canadians are calling for an increase to health transfers, and all experts who appeared before committee referenced the chronic underfunding for health spending over the past 25 years had weakened our system. Is that what he mean when he means the government listened to citizens and is defending the interests of citizens in a throne speech?
Richmond Hill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and again through you, Madam Speaker, to the honourable member. I take the opposite view of the honourable member. I can tell you that our Prime Minister met with premiers multiple times prior to the speech. And as a result, $19 billion were injected into provinces through the Safe Restart program. And I can assure the member that some of that $19 billion made it to his riding, because $4 million of that made it to my riding, and it made a big difference.